And it's actually been a whole calendar year since I could say it's time for another episode of, or start season 3 of. Hi there, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And between, saying goodbye to the Stampede Corral and taking in some Chinook Blast, well, we're actually going to have some Hitman hockey. And we're actually going to talk games and recap games. So welcome to Season 3, what I like to call my Calgary Hitmen in 6, where just like what I do with my Calgary Flames, as I recap the season, how it went in 6 game segments. And what I'm going to do going forward, but I won't necessarily do it in this episode because I don't have any games, but I'll put timestamps in for if you want to jump to a particular game, or realize the hockey guy does that when he does his recaps. So I'm going to do that going forward for all game recaps. But in this episode, we'll just get you caught up, as it's been a whole calendar year since we've had some live Hitman hockey. And recently, they actually released the opening day roster, and all I have for looking ahead is that they only released a schedule in 2 each segment for the Central Division, and it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to do it this season throughout the Western Hockey League, because I'm thinking there isn't going to be playoffs. There won't be a Memorial Cup, because each division, they're all going to be playing against their only divisional opponents, and the Central Division team was actually first, and February 26th was the first date for that to begin. The Calgary Hitmen actually happened to have the first week off, so we only got 2 games on the schedule, but I also understand that the East Division will also play in either a bubble or a modified schedule involving the Saskatchewan teams as well as the 2 teams in Manitoba. And the US Division is also going to be coming together to play their 24-game season, and the BC Division, I think, is still working on some details of their own. What I've heard that they're planning on having a bubble in Kelowna and Kamloops, so every team in the Western Hockey League is going to play games. They're still planning on playing 24 games. They're all going to start in different times. So that's the other thing I'll touch on, is what the Western Hockey League is going to do when it comes to getting games out to fans, because, as you know, fans are still not allowed to attend the games. So for the first 2 games for the Calgary Hitmen to kick off the 2020-21 season will be on Friday, March the 5th, as I meant to say, as the Calgary Hitmen are going to have a home-and-home back-to-back against the Red Deer Rebels, as it's all going to be weekend back-to-backs against other Central Division teams. The only Central Division team that's not going to take part is the Swift Current Broncos, but the Calgary Hitmen are only going to play the Red Deer Rebels, the Edmonton Oil Kings, or the Lethbridge Hurricanes, or the Medicine Hat Tigers in this 24-game season. So the first game, as I say, Friday, March 5th, the Calgary Hitmen will be at home. And remember, the Calgary Hitmen will not be playing at the Scotiabank Saddledome, with already the Calgary Flames playing there as their primary home, and then the Stockton Heat, the AHL team, moving shop from Stockton to play here in Calgary. As they've been playing their home games at the Scotiabank Saddledome, the Calgary Hitmen actually got pushed out with COVID protocols and that. So Calgary Hitmen's home away from home for this upcoming season will be at the Seven Chiefs Sportsplex at Tsuut'ina Nation. So that will be the first game, and then the second game will be on Saturday, March 6th, as the Calgary Hitmen will head up to Red Deer. It'll be a 7:30 puck drop for the home game in Calgary, and a 6 p.m. puck drop up in Red Deer. I believe it's still called the NMAX Centrium, where the Red Deer Rebels play. So that would be the first 2 games in the schedule. That's all they've released so far in the Western Hockey League in terms of Calgary Hitmen. So after 6 games, so I'm going to say after 3 weeks, I'll be back with episode 2 of season 3 of my Calgary Hitmen 6, where I'll look back how the first 6 games went in this, finally, the COVID season. So that is all I have for the schedule. So if you look at the opening night roster, what the 2020-21 Calgary Hitmen is going to look like, as it's going to have 22 players on the roster, and it'll have 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, and 2 goalies, and 216 players coming back from last year's team. And we break it down in a couple ways with this one is that you got the overagers. You know, you can carry 3 20-year-old players, and you have players ranging from 16 to 20. Well, the 3 overagers, the 20-year-old players, will be born in 2000. Well, we have Josh Prokop, who actually it's on his individual deal with the Nashville Predators. He's back. Also got Riley Stotts, who is the property of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Josh Prokop's a right winger, Riley Stotts is centerman, and then the right winger Orca Weisblatt. So those are the 3 overagers, 20-year-olds who were born in 2000. So in the 2001 born, there are 6 players that are on the roster. That would be center Blake Allen, and then right winger Connor Gubrach, and then you got goaltender Jack McNaughton, I should say. And you got left winger Conrad Mitchell, and you got defenseman Jackson Vanderleest. So I wonder if they'll still have the Vandy report if you go on hitmanhockey.com. And then the last 2001 born player is centerman Cale Zimmerman. So then the 2002 born, you got 5 players. You got center Riley Schultz, who is center. You got defenseman Evan Toth, and then left winger Adam Kidd. And then you got goaltender Braden Peters, and then defenseman who is the younger brother of Josh Prokop and Luke Prokop. So those are all the 2002 born players. And then we got 6 players that are for 2003 born that are, and a couple of rookies. Well, for the 2003 born, or 6 players, you got Zach Funk, a left winger, who is a rookie. And then you got Tyson Galloway, defenseman. And you got another rookie in Roy Neal, defenseman. And then you got Owen Pelferman, the defenseman, who is a rookie. And then you got left winger Sean Tessier, who's already actually played a couple seasons with the Calgary Hitmen already. And then the last rookie for 2003 born is left winger Tristan Zendy. And then we actually got 2 players who were born the same year that the Calgary Flames went on that magical run to the Stanley Cup Finals. It tells you the sign of the time. So we have 2 more players that were born in 2004, both rookies. You got Raiden Shipman, defenseman, and left winger Brandon Wynot. Why not? Not made to make fun, but that's how it came out. So that is all the players that are broken up in age group. So looking at numbers in the program, well, Josh Prokop is going to wear number 10. Cale Zimmerman will be wearing number 11. And then Tristan Zendy will be wearing number 14. And then Connor Gubrach will wear number 17. Riley Stotts, number 18. Sean Tessier, number 19. Riley Schultz will be wearing number 21. Adam Kidd will be wearing number 23. Zach Funk will be wearing 24. Then Blake Allen will be wearing number 25. Connor Mitchell, number 26. And then Brandon Wynot will be number 27. And Orca Weisblatt will be wearing number 28, so that's all the forwards. Then the defensemen, well, Evan Toth will be wearing number 3. Owen Pelferman will be wearing number 4. Jackson Vanderleest will be wearing number 5. Luke Prokop wearing number 6. Roy Neal, number 7. Braden Shipman will be wearing number 8. And Tyson Galloway, to round out the defense, will be wearing number 22. And then goal, well, Jack McNaughton will be wearing number 31. And Braden Peters will be wearing number 35. So that is the opening night roster who will be representing the Calgary Hitmen for the 2020-21 season. And then the last piece is actually with the fact that no fans are allowed at the game. Here's one way the Western Hockey League can both generate some revenue and be able to get their product more on the ice, is that the WHL launches an all-new WHL Live on CHL TV for the 2020-21 season. You gotta wonder if this may be a permanent thing. This is another way to bring in more revenue for the league, because, I mean, the big part of revenue for a lot of these teams is fans being in attendance. Well, with still social distancing and COVID restrictions, that is still not possible. So this is where you can potentially still watch your games and follow them while in the comfort of home. As it says, the Western Hockey League announced today the launch of the all-new WHL Live on CHL to bring WHL fans the best action during the 2020-21 season. This was released on February 24th, 2021, not today. Today is this recording. But it's just, another, CHL network. Just kind of a, stripped down version of the NHL network. But actually, if you're interested in paying for it, it's $59.99 for all season. You get access throughout all games for the whole season. And it said starting with, it kicked off with the Central Division where you had the Red Deer Rebels playing the Medicine Tigers. That was the first game to start off the Western Hockey League. And you also can get a 24-hour access for $6.99, and it's all Canadian dollars. So that is another thing, you know, be able to watch WHL games. And they also mentioned that it's also on your favorite web browser, iOS and Android. And they also said that you can only get the home feed, so it'll be whoever's working the home game feed that will televise the games. And then it also touches on the Western Hockey League start dates. This is where it touched on at the beginning of the video that every division is going to start different times, because the Central Division already started on Friday, February 26th, but the Calgary Hitmen had the first week bye off. And then the East Division will start on Friday, March the 12th, and then the US Division, they'll get to start on Thursday, March 18th, and then still TBD for the BC Division. They're still figuring out. Their provincial requirements have been a lot more stringent when it comes to, you know, team sports and all that. When it comes to the lower ranks, I mean, obviously the British Columbia, you know, granted approval for the Vancouver Canucks in the NHL. Even then, they were the slowest of the Canadian jurisdictions to do that. But when it comes to Western Hockey League, as well as the BCHL, which is, you know, the British Columbia equivalent of the Alberta Junior Hockey League, and I also hear that the Alberta Junior Hockey League here in Alberta is also going to start in the beginning or the middle of March as well. So that's all I have for my Calgary Hitmen in 6th, kind of just to kick off Season 3 and touch on that. At least we know the first 2 games of the season that will start for the Calgary Hitmen, as we'll take on a back-to-back against the Red Deer Rebels, and I'll be back recapping how the past 6 games went in the next episode. So I guess that will not come until towards the end of March, as it was all going to be weekend back-to-backs, and then touched on the opening night roster and, you know, how the games are going to be televised, or how you can catch the games for your favorite WHL team. So as I'll close out, I'd say, if you want to follow along this Calgary sports fans' journey, home of the Flames, Hitmen, the Roughnecks, and Stampeders, I mostly do talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel, but I also do a variety of non-sports content like personal blogs, attempt at comedy, and I also do share my experiences I'm on the road as a sporting man. I mean, lately there's been a few more weekend activities that I've taken in. I mean, I felt it was important for me to document and say goodbye to the old Stampede Corral, which a couple of years ago that the Calgary Hitmen played 3 games in, and that what kind of inspired me to be more of a sucker for that old arena, knowing it was going away, and my Remember the Calgary series. So I have all that on my channel, so if that all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fans' journey, you know what you do, just make sure you like, subscribe. I also have my other social media links down in the description below, and like I said recently, with that, you know, documenting the Calgary Hitmen, or not the Calgary Hitmen, the Stampede Corral demolition, as I kept touching on the Calgary Hitmen Corral series, and then, you know, the Chinook Blast and other festivals I took in recently. That's just been my other way to experiment and be able to share my experience in that as well. It's in addition to my sports content. I mean, that's all about following along with this Calgary sports fans' journey. So we can finally say, let's go Hitmen, and let's hope, you know, I'm going to say we're just glad that there's games, and I think it's just more important for this season when it comes to the junior ranks, just to get games in, just to potentially develop, you know, players for the upcoming 2021 NHL entry draft, and they're still figuring that out in the NHL on, you know, how that's going to go. Is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Or, you know, there has been some pushback and other complications that some were thinking that potentially, maybe the NHL entry draft may not happen in 2021 just because it's harder for the scouting. But I think it's still going to happen, but it's going to be a crapshoot. But at least we have games, and it's all about development of the game. So I just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.